Guys, welcome back to my channel Bansal Biology. In today's video we are going to learn about Parthenocarpy, Apomyxis, Polyembryony and the difference between all these three. We are going to first see the meaning of these three, and we are going to see the detailed explanation of these three, and then we are going to see the differences between these three. So let's get started with the video. Get started with the first, that is Parthenocarpy. The meaning of Partheno in Greek is virgin and the meaning of Carpy in Greek is fruit. So Parthenocarpy in meaning in Greek is virgin fruit, that is the fruit is virgin. What is the meaning of that? That the fruit is made through a asexual reproduction, that is no fertilization has occurred during the production of the fruit. No fertilization has occurred. So that fruit is seedless fruit. These kind of fruits are seedless fruit, that they doesn't contain any kind of seeds. For example, if we see that the ovule is converted into the seed after fertilization, once the fertilization occurs and once the male gamete has entered in the egg, then only the ovule will get converted into the seed. But in this condition, in Parthenocarpy condition, no fertilization is occurring. So ovule will not get converted into the seed, and these kind of seeds will be fruitless seeds. So how these fruits are developed? These fruits are developed without fertilization. Now the question is occurs, why there is increasing importance of Parthenocarpy? Why Parthenocarpy is becoming more and more popular nowadays, and why it is so important? So the first point is that it is a irritant. What is the meaning of irritant? Is as in, if we eat a fruit that contains a huge amount of seeds, then for eating that fruit it will be a very difficult task. For example, if we see a watermelon, then the watermelon contains a lot number of seeds. So imagine a watermelon without any kind of seeds. It will be so good to eat that we don't have to remove the seeds from them, and we can eat it like that only. So this is one important point, that it is a irritant. So if Parthenocarpy is done on a fruit that contains many seeds, then it will be good for us, and then we can eat it easily. The second point is processing fruits. If our industry is processing a fruit and making a product from it, then removing seeds for them is a difficult task to do. It will be very difficult for them to remove the seeds. So if the fruits are without seeds, so it will be easier for them to process the fruit. So this is also a reason that Parthenocarpy is increasing nowadays so much. The next point is pollinators. If we want to do the fertilization in plants, then we need a pollinators, especially the insects. We need the insects pollinators. So if Parthenocarpy is done, then we don't be needing the pollinators, and we don't need insects for pollination. So this is also the reason why the increasing importance of Parthenocarpy is occurring. Let's see the two types of Parthenocarpy, that is vegetative Parthenocarpy and stimulative Parthenocarpy. What is vegetative Parthenocarpy? In vegetative Parthenocarpy, the fruit, the seedless fruit is formed without any pollination stimulus, that we do not need any kind of pollination stimulus for the forming of seedless fruit. While in stimulative Parthenocarpy, we need a pollination stimulus required for the seedless fruit. In both, no fertilization is occurring. There is no fertilization is occurring in vegetative pollination as well as in stimulating pollination. So why there is a need of pollination stimulus? The pollen grains are not transferred through the pollination stimulus. It's other substance that will give a stimulus to the plant, that it can form a fruit. The stimulus can be a wasp, ovipositor, that is inserted into the ovary, so it can be a wasp or ovipositor, or it can be a plant growth regulator, or it can be a plant growth regulator that is dropped on the plant. So these kind of pollination stimulus are given to the stimulative Parthenocarpy plant, so that it can do for fruit formation. But in this vegetative Parthenocarpy, there is no need to do such kind of things, and the plant will be able to form the fruit itself. But in stimulative parthenocarpy, we need to give it some message that yes, you can do the fruit formation without the seeds or without the fertilization. In both, fertilization won't occur, but in stimulative parthenocarpy, you have to give pollination, and in pollination, you can give plant growth regulators or you can give wasp ovipositor. What is the ovipositor? Ovipositor is the transfer of egg of wasp will occur from this region. If we see the example of vegetative parthenocarpy, then there are two examples, that is pear and fig. Okay, in this two diagram you can see the seedless fig and the seedless pear, while in the example of stimulative parthenocarpy the example is grapes. If we see that we want to make a parthenocarpic fruit, then we'll need a hormone treatment for that. As there is no fertilization is occurring, so there must be some kind of message that will tell the ovary to grow and to mature and to form the fruit. So ovary will grow into fruit only when there is a message from something else than fertilization, and that message will come from a hormone. That hormone can be auxin or that hormone can be gibberellin. It can be either of the two. It can be gibberellin or it can be auxin. In the case of tomato, here you can see that the tomato is seedless. So in the case of tomato, if you want to make a seedless tomato, then auxin is given to the plant and it will initiate the maturation of the ovary without any seed production. While if you want to make a grapevine without the seed formation, then you have to give gibberellin to the grapevine so that it can initiate the production of seedless grapevine. See the next term, that is apomixis. Apomixis, the meaning of apomixis in Greek is apo is without and mixis is mixing. That the mixing will not occur, and we know that the mixing generally occurs during the fertilization, that is the mixing of the two gametes occur during the fertilization. So if it is without mixing, that is in apomixis also no fertilization will occur. So how it is different from the parthenocarpy? In this the production of seed will occur. In this the production of seed will occur, but the seed will be formed without fertilization. So there will be no fertilization. The seed will be formed without fertilization. So how it will happen? As we know that when the fertilization occurs, then only the ovule is converted into the seed. So how is this possible that the seed is produced without the fertilization? We'll see in just a minute. First, see that some of the species shows apomixis, that is Asteraceae and grasses. These two are the some which shows the apomixis. If we see apomixis, then it is of two type. It is adventive embryony and it is recurrent agamospermy. Both are the type of apomixis. If we first see that adventive embryony, in this what happens? In this the embryo is formed, but it is formed from nucellus or integument. It is formed from nucellus or it is formed from integument. It is not from the egg. It is either from the nucellus or it is either from the integument. That are the sporophytic cells. That are sporophytic cells. So these are what? These are 2n. These both are 2n. So they will grow and form the embryo. They will grow and form the embryo, that is also 2n. So there is no need to go in meiosis or to go in fertilization. No fertilization will occur and this will be formed into the form of embryo. So what happen in adventic embryony is that the embryo arises from the diploid sporophytic cells such as nucellus and integument that are other than the eggs. So the examples that show these two are citrus, mango, opuntia. Citrus, mango and opuntia are the three fruits that shows adventive embryony, that they are grown, their embryo are grown from the nucellus or integument. If we see about recurrent agamospermy, in this the embryo is formed by the embryo sac. The embryo sac will form the embryo. In this generally what will happen? Generally meiosis happens and egg is formed, and after the formation of egg, male gamete comes and it will fertilize the egg. But now this whole condition will not occur. Directly the embryo sac will grow into the embryo. This whole condition is cut down in the condition of apomixis. So what is the difference in this? That in this the embryo is formed from embryo sac, while in this the embryo is formed from the nucellus or integument. The example for recurrent agamospermy are apple and pear. These two fruits shows the recurrent agamospermy, and all these shows apomixis. It's just a difference from which cells they are formed. Now let's see the next term, that is polyembryony. What is polyembryony? Poly is many and embryony is embryo. That more than one embryo is present in a seed, or we can say in a ovule more than one embryo is present. Generally one embryo is present, but now more than one embryo is present in polyembryony. If we see, this is a diagram in which more than one embryo you can see in the ovule or in the seeds of a citrus ovule, that is the young seeds. So now if we see polyembryony, then polyembryony is of three types. The first one is cleavage type, that is most common in gymnosperms, but also some of the angiosperms shows this cleavage type of polyembryony. And what happens in cleavage polyembryony is that generally a ovule is present, and in that one egg is present, and a male gamete comes and fertilizes it. This is a general condition, and this then will grow into a zygote, and then it will go into an embryo. But now what will happen? This developing embryo will undergo a cleavage, and it will form two embryos. So in this condition, these two embryos are formed from this developing embryo by the process of cleavage, and that will result into more than one embryo in the ovule, or we can say seed. So this is a type of cleavage polyembryony. If we see the next polyembryony, that is simple polyembryony. In this, what will happen in a ovule if more than one egg is present? That by chance many cells get matured and they all form the egg. So what will happen? The male gamete will come and fertilize these all. So in this condition also, the more than one embryo will be present in a ovule. So what happen in this condition? That fertilization of many eggs occurs in a ovule. This is kind of polyembryony is known as simple. The next one is adventive polyembryony. This is similar to apomixis. That is, in this the embryo is formed from the nucellus, or it is formed from the integument. In this, but just the difference is that in this condition, the number of embryo that are formed from nucellus and integuments can be many. There are many nucellus is present in this, so these can grow into the embryo. Like here you can see the nuclear embryo, that is 1 2 3 4, plus the normal embryo is present, plus there can be integumentary embryo can also be present. So these kind of conditions are known as adventive polyembryony. The example of cleavage embryony are showing here. Then the examples of simple embryony like brassica, and the example of adventive embryony, that is citrus, opuntia and magniferum. So these was about the polyembryony. In all the conditions, the embryo in a seeds are many, but all have their own techniques. Like in this, the division occurs. In this, many eggs produced. In this, the embryo is produced from the non-egg cells like nucellus or integuments. And plus, in some conditions, what will happen? The antipodal cells that are present in the embryo sac, or the synergids that are present in the ovule, also get fertilized by the male gametes, and this also grows into the embryo. But these occurs rarely, but this is also the condition of polyembryony. In that antipodal, we have seen the three terms, that are apomixis, parthenocarpy and polyembryony. Now let's see the difference between these three. If we see the apomixis, then it shows the asexual kind of reproduction. If we see polyembryony, it shows sexual kind of reproduction. And if we see parthenocarpy, it also shows asexual kind of reproduction. That is not fertilization of any kinds of gametes. If we see apomyxis, then in this the seeds are present in the fruit. The fruit contains seeds. While in polyembryony there is also seeds are present, but in parthenocarpy no seeds are present in the fruit formation. There is no seed. That's why parthenocarpic fruits are also known as fruits without seeds. If we see apomyxis, then in apomyxis the fruit or the embryo, we can say the embryo is identical to the parent. It is totally identical with the parent, as only one parent is involved in the formation of apomyxis. It can be nucellus, it can be integument, or it can be embryo, or sorry, it can be embryo sacs egg. It can be embryo sacs egg. So any of these are involved in the formation of the embryo, so only one cell is involved. So in this condition the embryo is identical to the parent. While in polyembryony this does not occur. In this condition the embryo is not identical to one parent. It is formed by the mixture of the two parents. While in this also the embryo is identical to the parent, as in this condition also no sexual reproduction has occurred, asexual reproduction has occurred. So due to which also in this condition the embryo is identical to the parent. So this was all about the differences between these three and the complete definitions of these three. I hope this video has really helped to understand the difference between these three and and about all the examples and the explanation of these three. So guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope this video has helped you a lot for knowing the difference between these three, and this can be very confusing for one to understand, especially the apomyxis and the parthenocarpy. So I hope this video has helped you a lot guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe my channel and share this video with your friends guys. Thank you.